Hello, beautiful soul. Welcome to Write Your Light. I am Eva Andrea, and I'm so grateful you're here. This space is all about honoring your voice, your story, and the light that only you can bring into the world. And if you enjoy today's episode, it would mean the world if you liked, commented, or shared it with someone who might need a little extra light too. Your support truly helps this community grow. And if you're feeling called to dive deeper into your writing journey, I'd love to invite you to my writing circle, a warm, supporting space to write, flow, and shine together. And you'll find the link. It's waiting for you in the show notes. All right, let's jump in. Welcome, my loves. I am so delighted to be back here again with Write Your Light. And I am super delighted to share with you this conversation with a dear, dear soul sister of mine. She has become so close to my heart, Dr. Heather Kristian Strang. And, this girl, she's not only a best-selling author, a metaphysical psychologist, and a Magdalene Mystic, but she's also really a living transmission, I would say, of the divine feminine energy. Being in her presence just touch you. She's living her message, and she's just like a walking inspiration for me. And it's not a long time ago that Kristian and I met up in Paris and had an amazing time together. And I was thinking maybe we could invite the listeners to imagine that they are sitting on a cafe in Paris with a coffee or whatever you prefer, and having this sisterly conversation with Kristian and I, and just enjoy. How does that sound, Kristian?
I love this so much. Thank you, Ava. Yes, let's go back to Paris and have all of your listeners with us. I love this. Thank you for that beautiful introduction. You're amazing.
Oh, I love you so much, Kristian, and I'm so intrigued to have you on here. I just had to invite you to share with our listeners here, light workers, hard-lit writers, about your journey and how you write your light. And of course, also celebrate your amazing new book, baby. Yes. So, Kristian, let's dive right into it. When I say write your light, what does that make you think or feel? What comes up for you?
Mm. I love this so much, and I love that this is what your podcast is called and that you're really evoking this for all the writers and authors you bring on. It's so beautiful. So when I hear Write Your Light, when I was 12 years old, I was obsessed with books as a little girl. And then when I was 12 years old, I was reading something. I can't even recall what it was, but I just knew in a moment, I'm here to be a writer and an author. Like that's what I'm going to do in my life. And I was so excited. I like ran into the kitchen. I told my mom, like, Mom, I'm going to be a writer. Like, I'm here to be an author. And she was like, yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. They don't really make that much money. She was just like kind of dismissive, right? Which is the very standard, like wounded author archetype. But from that moment forward, I knew that I was here to be a writer and an author. But I didn't know what I was supposed to write about. So I spent a lot of my journey trying to find that out. I was a journalist, I worked in PR and marketing, I did social media writing. I did everything I could to pay the bills and still write. So I did copywriting. I had my own little copywriting business for a while. I mean, I tried everything. But it wasn't until my spiritual awakening that I really stepped into that vision at 12. I have chills right now. When I knew this is what that knowing at 12 was about. And that's when I began to write from this deep connection to my soul, to my higher self, to my spiritual team. And that is when things started to change for me. And so when you say write your light, that's what I feel. It's like I was on this journey to find what my light was. I didn't know what it was. I just knew I'm supposed to write. I don't know what else that means. I was obsessed with books. I have journals galore. Like the one thing I keep is like boxes and boxes of my journals. It's just been with me always. But it was only until I started writing from my spiritual awakening, channeling, that it really write your light is really what started happening for me. And that's what write your light means to me, is to write that light of source that lives within each of us and bring it onto the page.
Mm, I love this so much, Christian. Thank you. It makes me feel like crying. It's like such a fulfilling experience it must have been for you when that kind of breakthrough came. Uh, and I love that you have said yes to that calling, and you have written so many books. How many books did you actually write till now?
I'm at 13 right now.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that's
Yes.
wild. Yeah. Wow.
And it's like I can't not write, and I know you get this. It's just like I just know this is what I'm here to do and I'm going to do it. And I've also experimented with all the ways that I could publish. I've had a traditional publisher, I had a lit agent back in the day. And, I did all of the different things to find what is really writing my light and publishing my light look like. So it's been a whole journey and it will continue. I'm learning new things with every release of every book. I learn something new and grow and expand, and I love that.
It's fantastic. It's like your books and your publishing is growing with you. I love that so much. So I know you have this special connection with Mary Magdalene. Um, could you take us into maybe how did she kind of walk in on your pages, or how did she influence your writing? Could you kind of take us into that?
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, yeah, this is such a beautiful unfolding for me. So in 2013, I was in Brazil meditating on this crystal vortex. It was super magical. And I had had my spiritual awakening and massive healing there in 2008. So I returned in 2013. And I was in meditation like all day in these gardens outside, crystal vortex underneath me. I mean, if you've seen the movie Celestine Prophecy, it's like that, like kind of vibe and energy. It was very magical. And I had a vision, and in that vision, Yeshua, Jesus, came to me, and so did four other ascended masters, and their divine counterparts were also with them. Now, I didn't know that at that time, but I saw Mary Magdalene, like, Yeshua was up front, and then Mary was sort of standing to his side. And so at that point, Yeshua and these ascended masters and Mary Magdalene were working with me. So I started channeling, and so I started and then we turned my channelings into books. And then in 2020, things really shifted. Right before that, I started having people in my life say to me, you're a Magdalene, right? You know that Mary Magdalene is like right there. And I was like, I'm not, I don't know. I know Yeshua and her with me, but I wasn't fully translating for me. I was like, okay, I hear you, but I'm not feeling that. So until I have some kind of experience, I'm not gonna do anything with that. And then in 2020, I woke up one morning and Mary Magdalene, I'm looking at her right now. I've got a version of
Oh,
her right here in front of me, and she's here and here, and Yeshua's here. And
mm.
in any event, I woke up in 2020 and she was right by my bedside. This is gonna get me emotional. And she said, "It's you and me now, girl. I'm leading. I'm leading your spiritual team, and I'm leading your writing, and we're going." And I said, "Okay, let's do this." And it was right after, I think, her feast day in 2020. And then from that moment forward, she has just been with me like right there, front and center. So now it's Mary Magdalene and Yeshua is here. And then she became my primary guide and has taken me on an amazing journey of reclamation of my goddess self, reclamation of who I really am, of remembering the goddess within me and living from that place. And she really changed everything for me in a massive way. And I'm so grateful for Yeshua and the spiritual support from the other ascended masters, of course. And Mary and I just bonded in a way that has changed a lot for me.
Mm, wow. I'm sitting here with a full body chills as well and feeling very moved by your story. Um, wow. It's like I know that our listeners, at least many of them, are very open to that. There's a multi-dimensional world, right? And there's so much more than what we can see with our physical senses. And I love that you have kind of been open to letting yourself be guided and get that connection with your team. And then, wow, that story. Um, and I'm curious because I recognize a lot of this kind. Mary Magdalene is a very close guide to me as well, and she also stepped in the foreground after a long walk with the more Jeshua energy, so I can very much relate to that. Um, and I remember one of the first times she came to me, her light was so bright that I actually had to say, "I'm not ready." I had to reject her actually because it was like she was also standing by my bedside one day, and it was so strong that I could not take it in, and I had to say, I'm not quite ready. But then I became ready, right? And I'm wondering, just for those who are listening in here, who are opening their psychic abilities, their gifts, their channeling gifts in writing, um, what would you say to them? Because it can be a little bit of a thing to open up for such a bright light, right? How was that for you? You said before I started channeling, but how did that feel in the beginning? Did you have a process there, or
Yes, thank you for bringing this in because this is really important. And I believe that, Mary came to me when I was, like I could receive her because I was raised fundamentalist Christian. So it was very comfortable for me to think of Yeshua leading me. Like that's the program I've been given. Of course, the masculine is going to lead me spiritually. So it's like I had to do so much self-development to really be in a place where I could receive the feminine closely like that and trust her and be guided. So there's a couple things that happened in my journey that I think helped me be able to receive her because certainly in 2013 when she came in with Yeshua, I was not ready at all. So, and that's why, it didn't even occur to me to try to connect with her more because my program was still like the masculine leads the spiritual. So, in 2008, when I originally went to Brazil, it was for a health crisis. And so I went through this whole process where I thought I was going to die. And in that moment, I in a last ditch attempt to like save my life, I started praying, which I hadn't done in many years because I had left the church I had been um, indoctrinated in. I called out to God and said, if you just let me live, I'll do whatever you want me to do. I will be the being I know I'm here to be. Like I don't even know what I was saying. You know what I mean? It was just like I was in like a very stressed state and I didn't feel any life force energy in my body and I was freaking out and I just said, I will devote my life to you if you'll let me live through this. So that's exactly what happened. And then after I made that proclamation, the vital life force energy started returning to my body. It took me about 4 days to be able to walk after that, but it did. But after that, I had these healing gifts. I had healing energy coming out of my hands. I had these psychic abilities. So it was on. I made a deal with the divine and the divine was holding their deal. And really what happened was that was my highest path, but I was not working in harmony with my highest path. So my spiritual team and my higher self got me into a position where I had no choice but to honor who I really was. And sadly for me, it had to be that dramatic. It doesn't have to be that dramatic for everyone, but for me, I was really stubborn. So that started things. So at that point, I devoted my life to the divine. So I was open to receiving. And then in 2015, I went through what I call my second spiritual awakening, where these guides had been working with me, Yeshua, Mary Magdalene, the other ascended masters, But I went through a period where I had to let go of my ego, which was very strong and wanting to be successful. I had a book deal. I was doing a book tour. I was speaking on stages. I was like a thing in Portland where I lived in Oregon. Um, I was, getting well known. I was on TV. It was just all these different things were happening, and my ego loved it. But who I really am was like whispering to me, like, this is not it, girl. This is not it. And so in early 2015, I let it all go. I let go of the publisher. I let go of everything. I stopped speaking. I stopped touring. I stopped all of it. And I was sitting in meditation one day. Well, before that, I started feeling like I was having an anxiety attack, which had been a long time since I'd had anything like that. I'd had those in childhood. And I heard from my team, get your laptop, go sit in meditation. I was like, okay. So I sit there in meditation for like 30 minutes. I feel the energy just like, root in me. And then I hear open up your laptop and start typing. And so then my eyes are closed the whole time and my fingers just start flying. Now I can type like 100 and some words a minute. It's just like I was really good in typing class in high school, like, so I can type really fast. So it just started coming through me. And that's how it started. And then when Mary Magdalene came to me in 2020 and said, I'm leading you, then it was the first time that I was just working with her as opposed to a collective. And then now it's like her leading the collective. But my point in sharing all of that is that it was a process for me of an unfoldment. And I was not leading it. My conscious mind was not leading it. My personality was not leading it. So I really encourage people, like, don't try to force yourself channeling. If you're like, oh, channeling's cool, I should channel, like, just start writing. Just let your own process unfold, because when we try to make things happen, that's when it's like not as authentic and genuine. Like, just let it, it'll just start happening. That's what happened for me. It just started happening. But the first piece was my surrender, my devotion to the divine, and my continued devotion to the divine. So even when worldly success was like happening for me, I had to release those parts of me that were attached to recognition and, like needing attention. And like I lived my life on Facebook, literally there was not a moment that went by that I was not documenting. I had to move through all of that to then be able to surrender and allow Magdalene to be with me and to walk alongside me and for me to step into my next level of writing. So, yeah, I know that was very long-winded, but I just wanted to demonstrate it wasn't like, oh, I took a class, or oh, it's just like in one shot. It's been a journey.
Yeah, yeah. Kristian, I can't tell you how much I appreciate this sharing. This is so profound. Uh, I feel the value of this so deeply, because this is not something you hear many people talk about. Probably many have never heard this being worded like this before. So really deep appreciation for taking us with you on that journey and that devotional surrender journey that has been. And I know that is not the path for all writers, but for some writers, this is a path. And it is so valuable to have a mirror to reflect yourself in. And I would say it's very authentic to me. Also, when I hear what you're saying, it's like really how it feels to me as well, that the parts of my writing that is channeled, they are not forced, they are allowed. And that opening you speak of, is so profound, and also that it's a process. Um, I heard recently. I think I was reading in the book. Was it? I think I was reading it in the autobiography of Yogananda about this yogi that speaks about that when you kind of your nervous system has to be prepared to take
Yeah.
down the
Yes.
light, and if you could just take down everything, you would burn. It's so strong, that life force energy, so it's like you have to get it in drops and you have to get ready for
Yeah.
it, and there's a reason why it takes time sometimes to become ready to be that channel, if that's your path as a writer. Does that make sense to you?
1,000,000%. My nervous system could not have handled that at the beginning. There's
Mhm.
no way. So it had to go in stages for me, for sure. Because, like you're saying, and like the book was saying, to hold the light of source and of the goddess, you have to have capacity for that. So, meanwhile, I was meditating every day. I'm receiving energy medicine 1 to 2 times a month. Like, I am really doing my emotional work, my spiritual work, so that I can have that capacity. So when people are like, "Oh, I want to write this many books," or "I want to do full time do what you're doing," it has been a journey of stages for me to build the capacity in my body, in my light. Then I had to activate my light body. Like there's so many things that happen. So just being willing, like you said, to keep taking the steps, just keep take that next step and that next step.
Exactly. And when it comes to writing, you can say that in a way when you are doing flow writing, for example, just I just feel like adding this for our listeners, you actually always channel something.
Yes.
Maybe you're not channeling Magdalene right now, or maybe or someone else, but you are channeling your imagination. You're channeling your soul somehow. You're challenge. So that exercise of flow writing is actually a way of preparing yourself if you
Yes.
want to, channel more higher frequencies later on. Yeah.
Yes. Absolutely.
I love how I had this plan for the interview, and then we go down in another direction, and it's so fascinating. At least to me, I'm very fascinated by this
Yes.
conversation. So, Kristian, I wanted to hear from you. Um, like, if we look at the more you spoke a little now about you meditate a lot and you take care of your energy. But what is your current kind of writing, creative rhythm? What does it look like? Do you have any rituals? Can you take us into your daily life as a writer in a way?
Oh, yes, yes. Yes, so I'm very big on practice, spiritual practice and rituals to prepare my vehicle to live my mission. So for me, I'm very mission oriented. So I've known since I was a young girl that I had a mission. So even at 10, 2 years before the story I originally told you, there was like a trauma happening in my family, and I believe it was my higher self who came and spoke to me and who whispered in my ear and said, "You have a big mission. So don't worry about this because amazing things are coming." Um, so for me, it's very important that I am in integrity and that I am really living the transmissions, which so it was like very touching to me that you introduced me in that way because that is like, it's gonna make me cry. That is like my everything, that it's so important to me that I am as embodied fully as I can possibly be as a flawed human, but that I can embody as fully the divine goddess, Mary Magdalene, Yeshua, that whole Christed lineage. So for me, daily practice is essential. I do not check my phone or connect with any electronics before getting out of bed every morning and doing my practices. So I have my spiritual practices, my prayers, everything that sets up my entire day, every day since 2015. This has been every day. I have these practices, I do them nonstop. It's very important to me. So I have my morning rituals, I have my daily meditation practice. I work as a healer as well, so every session I do, I open and end with prayer. Like my entire daily life is about living the divine. That is just what brings me the most joy. Also, I want to say, like, I love it. I don't feel restricted. I don't feel like, oh, this is a hard path. It's like, I love this. This is like everything. Um, and so then I will wait until I will receive guidance about what the next book is, and I'll receive it in meditation. So then once I know what the next book is, then I work every day to write on it. I find that it's best for me if I get in a flow of every day. Earlier, when I was writing like my first spiritual romance series, I would like work on it when I could, and that just did not that just didn't work for me. It works for some writers. It just didn't work for me. I tried to do it like every weekend. I'd work on it a little bit. What I found is if I can just do an hour every day of writing and working on it, it really helps me like stay in the flow and I get it done sooner and like everything just goes better for me. So I've just learned that that's my process. So once I know the book, the next book, like right now we're releasing Radical Abundance and Radical Times. I know what the next book is. So once this is complete and launched and we've got a good solid base and we've got it to the people that the divine wants to have it as a foundation, then I'll start working on the second book. So I just wait for the guidance, then I start writing every day until it's complete. And that has really worked well for me. Sometimes I would, for my other channeled books, I would create an offering for my community. And so I'd be releasing transmissions to them live, and then all those transmissions would go into a book. So they were the first ones to receive it, and they got to hear me speak it, and they got the written transmission. So that was a benefit to them. And then eventually we take that collection like a couple years later and turn it into a book. So I've worked with it in a variety of different ways, but for me, daily writing along with my spiritual practice makes the biggest difference for me.
Mm. Daily writing along with my spiritual practice. Yes, girl. That makes a lot of sense to me. I hear you, and that kind of momentum that is created where it's not, you're not stopping the energy, right?
Yes.
I can relate to that myself also, especially when I have a book project, and yeah, always to do some kind of writing every day is so important, right? To not get out of it. Wow. I love how this is so integrated with your whole being. You're just living it and loving it, as I hear so beautifully. And you know, um, I wanted to say, if someone is sitting here feeling a calling to start a writing journey, but feel a little afraid, or a little, feel a, what would you say to them? Do you have like a word of encouragement for them?
Yeah. I do. If you have any desire to write, then you must write. And I really encourage you to write every day some kind of pages. And it doesn't have to be for a project. It can just be, I really don't feel like writing today, but I promised myself I would write, and then just see what comes from there. And then the other piece I really recommend is having a writing mentor. So Ava is a great example of this, like really finding someone you feel connected with and have a writing mentor to support you as you're creating this for yourself and creating this flow for yourself. We don't have to do it alone. So having a writing group, having a writing mentor, that really, really helps you in your creation of how you're here to write. I didn't know how I was here to write. I was, trying all these different things, process of elimination. I was like, I didn't even know that channeling was something that I could do. So let your path reveal itself to you and have the support of a community and a mentor, because that really makes all the difference. When I could gather in community with other writers, and whenever I can, I love it. It is so nourishing to your soul. So yeah, don't give up. If you feel like you're here to write, then you are here to write. So get yourself the support team so that you can do that and find what your unique path is, and then go. And then your unique path will keep expanding. I've written spiritual romance, I've written oracles, I have a daily guide. There's all different ways that your work, your soul, your heart wants to manifest. So keep being on the journey with it, keep having support, and see what unfolds for you.
Wow, this is sweet music to my ears, dear
Yeah,
one. Yeah,
so good.
I know what you're saying. This is why I created my Magical Writers Tribe, on Facebook, and anyone can go there for free. I think you can find the links on my Facebook, on my homepage for that. And it's like, because I truly believe that when we are in a safe kind of community where we can also share as we write and share those kind of half finished things and share
Yes.
our vulnerabilities and everything, it's like it's so supporting. So I love that. And also that really to trust and have faith in what you feel. It's your soul, right? That's nudging you. So profound. I want to write that down, that pep talk, and print it, put it on the fridge for
Please
everybody.
do.
Oh, so now, Kristian, you are sitting here with the most amazing new book. It's actually being published today as we publish the interview. Yay! Radical abundance in radical times. Tell us about it. How does that feel? And congratulations.
Thank you so much. I am so excited for this to be out. This has been an incredible unfoldment for me. So in 2021, we published Radical Abundance in Radical Times privately. This was version one. I just published it. So this talk about some of the different experiments I've done with my writing over the years. We did this as like a Kickstarter campaign, and it was private to my community. We sold a few hundred copies, I think it was, and then we sold out and we were done, and that was it. And I've known that version two, the second edition, was going to be coming out, but I didn't know when, I didn't know how it was going to go. But I kept getting messages from people who would find me and be like, this book is out of print. Like, it's on your website, but it's out of print. Like, we want more. We need an abundance tool. We need a spiritual abundance tool. And I realized I didn't have any spiritual abundance tools. So if you weren't with me in 2021, you didn't have anything, any channel guidance for Mary and the team on radical abundance. So it was time to go back in. So we went back in. Mary gave me a new transmission, I think a couple new transmissions to add. I need to double check that. And then we went through all of the transmissions and upgraded them because the economy, the world, things have changed since even 2021. So she wanted me using new language. We also gave new tools about how to work with abundance in your life, even with this change that's going like into digital currency and all the various things that are happening with abundance. So we upgraded all of the language and went through each transmission and brought in new tools, new resources, new ways to work with your energy, your financial world, your abundance life in a way that is from this higher dimension of consciousness.
Mm. It's so beautiful. I love it. Wow. And also such a fantastic example of how sometimes things needs gestation time and to kind of bloom into its full expression as it's now so beautifully doing. And I've been peeking into the book. I'm just like reading the introduction here with Mary Magdalene. Today I was sitting with it, and it's like the energy is so gorgeous. It's such uplifting, authentic, and really necessary energy today in these times. I hear you. Yeah.
Yes. And there's so much distortion around money, around abundance. And even in my first story, my mom was like, "Oh, you'll never make any money as a writer." There's all these stories. And certainly for me as a healer, full time as a healer, supporting myself as a woman, like people are like, "Oh, that's never happening," but I've been doing it since 2010, like it. And as an author and a healer, like there's so much story about what is possible for you, and Mary Magdalene and Yeshua and all of the highest light want you to know that you are so, like, not only want you to know that you're so much more than the world economy and dollars and cents, but that you have the ability to live in unlimited wealth and prosperity. Like that is available to you here on earth. And so they are giving you the codes. They're also giving you action steps, right? Because we always want to bring the masculine, feminine, the physical, the cosmic together. So you've got the vibrational medicine, and then you've got the practical action to create radical abundance. And what do we mean by radical? Like uncommon, right? People wouldn't say, "Oh, you can't do that." But yes, you can. And we want to give you the keys to do that. And so I'm going to have a companion meditation that will go with the book so that when you purchase your copy, if you send me your receipt, I will get the companion meditation out to you. And then that's going to pair really nicely with the Oracle transmissions, and you have the meditation watch out, world. You're about to change the game. And that's what we want. We want everyone in their sovereign abundance instead of any like wounded feminine or wounded masculine or the tortured artist
Mm.
archetypes, tortured healer archetypes that struggle with abundance and wealth. That's over. We're done with that. It's 2025. It's over. 2021 was like like the appetizer, like you said. It was just, we were just getting started. 2025, we've got the full transmissions at their highest, next level of expansion and abundance. And you're going to receive these transmissions, pair it with the meditation, watch out. Like it's going to be, I'm so excited about this because it's changed my life. I came from poverty consciousness, and it was only through giving my spiritual gifts that abundance started flowing to me. So they speak a tremendous amount about alignment and mission and destiny. And all of this is to upgrade your frequency so that you can know whatever those next steps are specifically for you. So we're going to give you a foundation, and then your personal encodements will begin to activate. So it's very exciting. I want to see a huge, massive wave of healers, authors, writers, creatives living in their highest level of abundance than ever before. Like this is our time and it's happening now.
Yes. Wow. This is fantastic. And I just say this resonates a lot with me as well. I really see that for all of us, and that this kind of letting go of fear, lack, limitation, and stepping into the realm of the miraculous. That is right here. It's just a breath away. It's just a practice away. It's like I really feel that for all of us. So thank you for creating this beautiful oracle book that this is. Right. It seems like a book where you can open here or there as you feel called to. Is that right?
Yes, so you can work with it in two ways. You could read a transmission every day and you could read it in order and read a transmission. I recommend reading them out loud as well because that helps encode it. You're hearing it and also you're visually taking it in. Or you can do every day, just what do I need to know to step into my next level of abundance? Or what's the next action I need to take to step into my next level of abundance? And just open to that page and hone in on that paragraph or two paragraphs that is that specific next step for you. So, yes, you can use this in a variety of different ways to support your wealth and abundance journey.
Yes, amazing. Almost like drawing a card, right? It's like that same kind
Yeah.
of idea. Yeah,
Yeah.
wow. Would you like to read us a little piece somewhere? Is there something you would like to read for us, or how is
I
that?
don't have that. I don't have it
You
available.
don't have it here.
You'll
You
have
know,
to get a copy. Yeah, I
yeah,
don't
get a
have it
copy.
available.
Yeah, it's because it's on the way, right? It's coming. Yeah.
Yes, I haven't gotten my physical copies yet. They'll be
Ah,
next week. So, but we do have it all ready to go at the time of this publishing. It will be available paperback and ebook.
yeah.
So I'm really excited for folks to work with their abundance in this way. And even if you feel like I'm living in abundance, this can take you to your next level.
Mm.
And I'm just really excited. And then I also do this with my audience and with my readers. So I will be working with the book once I have my paperback copy. I have my ebook copy, but it's not the same. I like having the paperback. So once I have my paperback, I'll be doing my daily transmissions with it because there's always a new level of expansion that's available for us in really miraculous ways that we wouldn't consider. So be open to all the different ways that the abundance wants to flow to you.
Yes. Wow. This is so good and so needed. I feel this book will make a big difference for light workers out there. And go get your copy, everyone, and give it to your friends and give it to your family and anyone you would like to have a more radical abundance, right? I'm gonna read this for my summer. I know that it will be amazing, and I can't wait to dive even deeper into it because I have been reading other of your books, and you're an amazing writer, and the way you really pack light codes into your writing is amazing. It's really something special. So thank you so much for creating this, Kristian. Yeah.
Thank you, Ava, for having me and being able to share. This was so lovely to be able to share stories I've never shared before
I
about my
know.
journey. It was really incredible, and I'm so excited to share the book with you and your audience. And I love that. And as soon as you said that, I'm going to make this my summer practice. So every day for the summer, I'll be pulling a transmission. I love that. So thank you for bringing that in for us.
I want to do that myself too. So before we wrap up for today, Kristian, even if I could sit on this Paris cafe and talk to you all day, I have three weird questions for you that I like to ask my guests some strange questions. Um, if your life right now was an oracle card, what would it be called?
Ask me one more time. That just went right through me.
If your life right now was an oracle card, what would you call it?
Oh, Magdalene Mystic, of course.
Of course.
Of course. It's right here.
Oh gosh, I love that. And I secretly hope that you'll write a memoir about your path with Magdalene, but that's just a secret wish for me.
I love you. Thank you for encouraging me. My book mentor here.
Not promising anything, right? Um, so, Christian, if you could sit in a circle with three women from any timeline, who would they be?
Oh, this is such a hard one. Okay, Mary Magdalene, obviously, that's a given. But I also feel like oh, I also really, really, really love Maya Angelou, and her poetry was just so powerful in my life. So I would love to chat with her. And she had such a rich human life. She did so much. Like she was like a dancer, and then, she's this wise woman. So yes, Mary Magdalene, Maya Angelou, and who else would be my third lady?
Mhm.
I'm laughing because my spiritual team, okay, Sarah Jessica Parker.
Oh,
That's
and lots
hilarious.
more.
That's a hilarious combination of women. That would be so much fun. But they were showing me around the circle, and then Sarah Jessica Parker stepped in. I was like, okay, yeah, and SJP, perfect. Because I really like Carrie Bradshaw was like in my 20s, was a big influence for me for writing. Because you did not see women who were writing full time like in popular culture at all. So that was like a big thing for me as a young woman was like, they're showing a female writer and she's like fabulous and beautiful and like living a great life. What? So that's
I
hilarious.
love
I
that.
love that. Thank you.
It's awesome. And I think it also reflects your very lively, uh, wonderful personality. I think you guys will have a blast in that circle and it will be very rich and very fun.
Amazing. Yes.
Yeah.
I love
Love
that
it.
question. Thank you.
Yeah. So, Christian, do you have a favorite word at the moment?
A favorite word.
Mm, can be anything.
Reclamation has been coming up a lot for me just the last couple of days. Reclamation, this reclaiming, because I've been talking about like the return of the goddess, the return of the feminine, but it's more like this reclamation of what was already there all along that we didn't recognize was available to us. So yeah, reclamation is coming up for you right now. Let's go with that.
Mm, that's so good. Love that.
Mhm.
Yeah, let's all reclaim who we are, right? Uh,
Yes.
and if anyone who's listening here on YouTube feel like doing a reclamation, you can share with us in the chat. Who are you? Why are you here? Why are you writing? That would be fun to hear.
Mhm.
Yeah. Wow, Christian, this has been so amazing. I feel we have stopped time for a little, and this has been so rich. I knew it would be wonderful to talk to you, and I just want to say thank you for your openness, for your beautiful light, for the devotion you are walking your path with, and for this way shower you are for so many. And I know that your journey is continuing and that many more books will unfold from your soul. And I can't wait to follow that, and walk this path alongside you. So thank you so
Mm.
much.
Thank you, sister. This was so much fun. This was so fun to share with you. And thank you for creating such a beautiful, open, vulnerable space so that I could share those stories. I could cry. I could, have the full gamut of experience here. I really just am so grateful to you and the beautiful space that you create here on earth to support authors and writers and their becoming. And you're just doing such beautiful work on earth. So thank you for letting me be part of your podcast. I'm so honored and can't wait to see what we do next together.
Yay, let's see. It will be very fun. So
Always.
much love. Thank you so much for being here with us. And if you want to have a meeting with your divine muse, go to my page www.eva-andrea.com for a guided writing meditation loved by thousands over the years. Thank you for listening, everyone. Share this episode with your friends and hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you next time. So much love.